Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video. This is kind of my response to the whole MoFi-gate debacle. There's a lot of news going around, a lot of opinions going around. And I just did a Q&A on Instagram, and like half the questions were, what do you think about MoFi-gate? What's your take on it? So I thought I'd do a video on it just to put it out there. And I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible because I know there's a lot of the audiophile guys are heated and they're going in there and they're making these videos and they're talking about this and they're using a lot of jargon that probably the layman listener doesn't understand. So I'm going to try to lay it out for you. I'm going to explain it to you as well as I can from my understanding. I am not the biggest audiophile and I'm not the smartest when it comes to audiophile stuff. So I don't have the knowledge that Mike from the In Groove or Michael Fremer or any of these guys have, but I know what I like and I understand. I've got a good system, and I am a lot more laid back and casual when it comes to that stuff. I'm not as invested in it. In the end, I am a OG press kind of guy. I like the original pressings, but also, I've got a hi-fi setup, I've got good speakers, got a good system. I love audiophile records. I love MoFis. I love analog productions. I love audiophile stuff. So it does hit me, and I am interested in the topic, and I have opinions too. So, anyways, we'll just get started. I'll explain if you haven't heard about this whole thing, which I'm sure you have. But when I was on Instagram, a lot of people were saying, "What's MoFi-gate? What is that?" So basically, about a week ago, Mike from the In Groove, Mike Espinosa from the In Groove, put out a video making a little bit of an accusation about Mobile Fidelity having a digital step in the process. He had gotten some information from some people that had been somehow involved in the company and wanted to kind of whistleblow what's going on. And so I believe from the video, it seemed to me like he got it from multiple sources that were unaffiliated. And so he believed it without any doubt that it was true. He tried to reach out to MoFi with no response on it. It seemed to me like it wasn't the type of thing that he just jumped on YouTube and made a video about. He put a lot of thought into it and all that stuff too. And I will say this about Mike. Mike is a really good dude. He will do whatever it takes to make sure the customer has good information about what they're buying. He is honest in that, maybe even to his own fault. You know what I mean? He has a lot of integrity. What I mean by that is, he's got a ton of MoFis. He sells a ton of MoFis. This doesn't really do him any good. You know what I mean? So, but he's going out to get the information to make sure that you as a consumer has all that information. So I commend him on that. I think he's doing a great job with this. I think that he's an asset to the vinyl and audiophile community. So that being said, he made this video and he put it blew up. I mean, the internet broke over it. YouTube went berserk, and it kind of put MoFi in the position where they had to respond. So they responded by offering that Mike would come out, tour the facility, and that he could do an interview with them, and they would answer all the questions. So he obviously did that. Went out, toured their facility, listened to some things. He talks about in the second video. So the next video was one he posted yesterday, where he sat down. There's an hour-long interview with the guys from MoFi. So basically, I'm watching this video, and he gets in there, he starts talking, and you get around other guys and you're talking. If there's something if it's kind of awkward or nerve-wracking or whatever, you'll make some jokes. There's dad jokes coming out the wazoo, not from Mike, from the other guys. And it becomes clear that I don't think they understand or are respecting the gravity of the situation. That Mike has flown all the way out here from Arizona to get some answers. And my takeaway from the video was every time there was a question posed that was kind of a hard question, they would make a joke, change the subject, and get out of it or whatever. And at the end of the video, I sat and I thought, well, that was a good video, and I understand a little bit more, but am I dumb? I mean, did I miss something? this wasn't enough information for me. Like I feel like Mike did a really good job with asking the questions that he did and everything. But I feel like the guys from MoFi, my initial response to it was they did not treat this situation with the respect that it deserved in that time. And I spent an hour watching this video, and I know a little bit more than I did before, but not much. So basically, what I got from the video was that they kind of admitted that sometimes you have to do a digital step, which they talked a lot about DSD, which is a method to store an audio source at a really high capacity. Like he said, like 11.2 gigahertz or something like that. If you go back and watch the video, they talk about all the jargon and shop talk and all that stuff. I'm just kind of, passing on some information if you don't care as much about the details. So basically, they were able to use master tapes in a lot of situations, and they would capture those master tapes and then use the DSD to capture them digitally, and then they would, do the rest of the process from there. Which doesn't surprise me. I will say in this whole thing, I'm not surprised by that at all. I kind of expected that some of that was probably going on. They don't ever, like maybe a couple years ago, I was like, they don't ever say, like from the original analog, original master tape, they don't ever say that. Ever. They kind of do, but it's like I noticed that. I have noticed that before, that they don't really come out and say it in so many words like a lot of other businesses do. And so I was like, well, I'm not really all that surprised by this news. After that, I thought, well, Mike is he's gonna come back around, and which he will come back around and explain it a lot more. He'll probably talk about some conversations that he had apart from that video with the guys, and he will give. I believe with all my heart that he will give very good explanation for everything that they have told him, and you're gonna get the best information from him, no doubt in my mind. I have complete faith in Mike, all that. But after that, I watched a video, which was, and believe it or not, I'm not a big YouTube watcher, so I'm just doing this so I can understand what the heck is going on. So from 45 RPM audio file and Michael Fremer, they did like a live with both of them on it, and they kind of talked about, and they were both pretty furious that MoFi had, the synopsis of their whole video was that Fremer was pretty pissed about their lack of answers in the video, which rightfully so. That's exactly what I thought. I wasn't as mad about it, personally, because I wasn't as surprised. But they, like I said, they know the business way more than I do. I'm just a casual listener. Like I said, I got a good system. I have, a couple hundred, 400, I don't know, a couple hundred audiophile records. I like them, but I'm an OG kind of guy. So, in that video, I was like, wow, they're a lot more upset than I am about this. So, it shows that there are people that are a lot more invested in this than I am. There are people that are really upset about this. There are people that feel lied to. They've supported the business for decades, and now they're finding out that they've not been completely honest. My parents used to tell me, if you hide part of the truth, that's a lie. And that's true. Any form of deception is a lie. And so, if you feel like that you've been lied to, that's a big problem. In this whole thing, I think the one thing that has to be taken away from all this is that a company, if they're putting out a product, they need to be transparent about what the customer is buying. That's the whole thing Mike's trying to say. Mike is not saying that the records don't sound good. And I don't think anybody's saying that the records don't sound good. Now, with MoFi, it is hit or miss. Some releases are great, some meh. But they have a good reputation especially for the past few years. The Ultra Disc One Steps sound phenomenal. I and Mike don't think that the records sound bad. And I don't think you should throw the baby out with the bathwater. But I do think that MoFi owes everyone an apology and more answers. That's what I think. That's my opinion. But will I sell all of my MoFis? No, I won't. If you want to dump all yours, you know where my shop is, bring them. But, I think that the main focus here is that Mike is trying to push for transparency in the audiophile industry, to where like if you're putting out an audiophile record, you put the ingredients on the back of a box of cereal, you put that on the back of the record, to where you're like, or the front or whatever, to where you know the exact process, you know exactly what you're buying, because a lot of times you don't know, you're just trusting them. I mean, there's other companies like Analog Productions where I have like total faith that what I'm listening to is, I mean, and they're very transparent about everything, all that stuff, you know. But all this to say, all this debacle, you know, I'm excited to read the comments on this video. I've been reading some of the comments on the other videos. I will remind you that I'm not an audiophile guru. I don't know nearly as much as any of these guys. But as a casual listener, this is just kind of what I thought about it. But I do want to, again, commend Mike for his good work on this. I think that he's really doing a work for the customers that nobody else is going to do. Like a lot of people that have more at stake than him wouldn't do this. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people that have, I said that wrong. A lot of people that have as much of their foot in the water in the audiophile world as he does probably wouldn't do this, because they don't want to, you know, ruin their reputation with MoFi. He would rather have a good reputation with customers, so he is going through and he's asking the hard questions and all that stuff. So I really commend him for that. But in this whole thing, you know, if you're on the side like kind of I am, that you're like, what's the big deal? No big deal. I'm not saying what's the big deal. I get what's the big deal, okay? But I'm not as hurt about it as a lot of other people. But if you're on this side, you know, maybe take a step back and think, okay, these people are so heated and they're so upset. Why are they feeling this way? And, you know, is it justified? What can we do to, you know, hold MoFi accountable for this stuff? And then if you're on the other side and you're supercharged about it, you know, I think that a resolution can be made, but I don't think it can without more information and more correspondence with MoFi and all that stuff. So, anyways, excited to read the comment section. You know, don't come after me too hard. Like I said, I'm just a regular guy. So, yeah, thank you, Mike, if you're watching this, for all the good work that you've done. And let me know in the comment section what you guys think. We'll see you guys next time.